Welcome everyone, we have the official news. This is the Hu Tao Banner, and oh boy, this is strange, because we predicted there will be Noel over Xiangling, but turns out they're gonna have two pyro characters in one banner. This is the first time they had it, so we have Hu Tao, Xingqiu, Chongyun, and also Xiangling in one banner. And this event banner will start on the 2nd of March, around 6 PM China time. So 14 days for the banner, and this will start in 2 days from now. So 2nd of March. And this is the first time, guys, two pyro characters in one. And looks pretty good, right? Amazing, amazing. We're gonna go into the character analysis after on the second part about each of those characters, getting them to higher constellations, how they can be useful. So I wasn't prepared for Xiangling. I prepared for Noel, but I didn't prepare for Xiangling. I prepared for all other characters. So as you can see over here, the rates for each of those characters will be increased by 50%. And here are the dates, the 2nd of March. We thought it would be the latest on the 3rd of March, but turns out it is the 2nd of March on 6 PM China time. And there's also a few other messages. So as we can see over here, we also have Hu Tao's side story. Now in this side story, this will come out with Hu Tao. And what we can expect is 60 primal gems for the side story. And for this side story, you do have to be adventure level 26 and above to play this one. And 1 story key, which we do have a lot. So 3 primal gems, a lot of Hu Tao story, very good. And there's a special part. Where is it? So there's a special official announcement about character shots with Bennett. Did you guys know today's Bennett's birthday? Because his birthday is on the 29th of February. To be nice to him, they decided to give him the 28th of February for his birthday. So today's Bennett's birthday, and you got to see him giving people a haircut, which is pretty cute, right? So lovely, lovely. Now let's go into the analysis of those 3 rate up 4-star characters as the second part of the video. So coming over to Chongyun, and you might be wondering, how good is Chongyun as a DPS and how good Chongyun is a support? So let's come over to 2 different clips of Chongyun. The first clip is from lukechan, and if we have a look, this shows how much potential you can deal damage with Chongyun, and this is quite incredible. This is for the Spiral Abyss floor chamber 3, floor 12. And look at the damage from Chongyun. Did you guys get to see that? So this is the demonstration of how much Chongyun can do in terms of the damage output. He is doing coil damage, and you can see it's about 60,000, 70,000 per pop with his burst ultimate, and there's 4 pops of those damage. So we're looking at over 250,000 damage. So this is the first demonstration to show us that you can play Chongyun as a DPS character, and this is quite nice. Now if you want a guide for Chongyun as a supporting character, which he have a massive potential, we do have a previous guide on Chongyun, and definitely have a look at this one. In here we'll talk about Chongyun's potentials, his abilities, how he interact with different characters, how his animation works, how he lowers cooldown, and what could you go with Chongyun, different weapon choices as a support character. Now keep in mind, as a DPS or a support, there will be different builds for Chongyun. We'll touch on the DPS Chongyun in more details in the following guide, which I'm planning to build him into a DPS. Now coming to some of the highlights for Chongyun. In case you guys didn't know, Chongyun's particular E spell will debuff or buff your ally normal attack into coil damage. This works wonderfully well for pyro damage, or this can work for its hydro damage too. But what this doesn't work is with the electro damage. So for someone like Kachin, someone like Razor, someone like Bidu, they will be dealing coil damage under his circle. And that is the only downside. Everything else, this one is really nice. Because once you cast his E-spell, he will be increasing the team's attack speed by 8%. And with Concentration 2 Chongyun, he will be reducing the team's cooldown by 15%, which is the biggest cooldown reduction in the game. Together with Anemo with 5%, you can get up to 20% cooldown reduction. And finally, in order to achieve a DPS or damage dealing Chongyun, you're going for Concentration 6. This is the biggest factor, because he will be doing 15% more damage and also summon 1 additional Spirit Blade. For his burst ultimate, the Spirit Blade will allow him to summon 3 Blade. Having summoned 4 Blade and 15 additional damage, this is pretty massive. And this is why in the clip we saw earlier, he was doing a lot of damage. He was doing about 60,000, 70,000 damage with the correct team and also with the correct artifacts. Now coming over to Xingqiu, which is one of the best Hydro support and also sub DPS. Just to show you guys how strong Xingqiu is, I also found a clip from Rubber Moose over here to show you how powerful Xingqiu can be. So this is Xingqiu versus Divillain. And this is another level 90 Divillain, and Xingqiu is gonna break Divillain's shield first. And he's doing okay. He's not, superbly crazy, but he did enough damage. And this is when he cast his E-spell. And now he also cast his burst ultimate. Notice that with Xingqiu's burst ultimate and his E-spell, he is doing additional hydro damage, and each time he normal attacks, notice the Ring of Swords. The 1000 Blades took the villain down from 100% to 0. So this is just to show you guys, Xingqiu as a DPS can work. He is also incredible as a hydro debuffer support, which Hu Tao can really use the defensive and offensive capacities. Now coming over to some of the highlights for Xingqiu, as we can see over here, Xingqiu's E-spell will give us a particular hydro shield which will reduce the damage taken and also heals us with his talent. And the specialty with Xingqiu is his burst ultimate. After casting his burst ultimate, you will have a ring of swords around you. When you normal attack, those swords will attack with you, debuffing enemies with hydro. And initially you might see him as a support character, he gives us the 25% refund, which is actually a really good utility spell. He also gains 20% hydro damage bonus. So they allow you to build him as a support or a DPS, so he's quite flexible. So similar to our friend Chongyun, initially when you have lower concentration of Xingqiu, he is a really good support. He will reduce the enemy's hydro resistance, which allows Mana and also Child, any of the hydro characters, to do more damage. And after that, when you get Xingqiu to the highest constellation with Constellation 6, will be gaining additional damage with his sword, and he also gets more energy when the sword hits enemy. So what that means is, he can have a really good uptime with his burst ultimate. So as you normal attack, he will be dealing more damage, and as you normal attack, he will be gaining more energy to cast his next burst ultimate. The best part about his burst ultimate is that you can swap into any of the characters, and this carries over. So what you can look like Xingqiu is, you can cast his E-spell, which stays on the character, to gain a damage reduction and also to gain a passive healing depending on his HP percent. And you can also cast his burst ultimate, which also stays on the character, to gain increase of hydro damage and also use the utility of hydro normal attacks as your normal attack to debuff enemy with hydro and to vaporize with pyro maybe, or to make the enemy frozen with cryo. So he is one of the best elemental synergy support and a really good DPS as well, because as you attack, you'll also be dealing hydro damage. So finally, let's come over to Xiangling. Now I didn't prepare a clip for Xiangling. I got one for Noel, but I thought Noel was coming, but it turns out Xiangling is coming. Xiangling is one of the free characters we get from the Spire Abuse. And also Xiangling is very nice because she can be 2 pyro characters having the 2 pyro resonance for 25% bonus to attack for Hu Tao, which we'll talk about Hu Tao, who wants more HP over attack. So Xiangling's Pineapple will be persistent, and so is Goban. Now if you look at Xiangling, the best thing is she does increase our attack by 10%, and after that, with high constellation, Xiangling will reduce the enemy's pyro resistance by 15%. So this helps with Hu Tao, this helps with Hu Tao. So she can be a pretty reasonable support. And if you happen to get Xiangling to the highest constellations with Constellation 6, you're looking at another 15% bonus pyro damage. So 15% pyro damage, 15% pyro resistance for more damage, 10% attack. And if you come over to Hu Tao, if we happen to get Hu Tao lower HP below 50%, she can do additional 33% increased pyro damage. So there is going to be a lot of bonus pyro damage, and we have a lot of high critical rate. So when we turn attacks with Hu Tao with her E-spell into pyro damage, we'll be dealing a lot of damage with Xiangling as a support, which is also good. We can use Bennett as a support too. I'm working on the Hu Tao build, guys. I'm working on the videos, the guides for the best free-to-play 4-star weapons, best 5-star weapons, and those going to be calculated. I'll have those videos out for us very soon. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this banner. What a surprise, right? Xiangling is in the banner as well. So here we go. Now if you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe and also turn the little bell on for the latest news. I'll be looking towards to make more builds, guides, tips, and news and event updates for us as we come further into the game. And as always, I wish you guys the best of luck with Genshin and have the most fun in exploring this wonderful world.